Welcome back to the Muppet Monster Adventure Let's Play. In this part we'll be doing Arabian Frights. Yeah, they did an Arab level. So yeah, they definitely were very varied with this world in particular. Like, it's meant to be the village, but there seems to be like sub-villages inside of it. Because we just went from like the kind of rurally like Amish town to like this Arab place. So if you ever wondered what like Arabian culture is like, or whether Aladdin is a good representation, well, Aladdin is pretty close, but I think this is a lot more accurate. Yeah, in Arab countries, they definitely have people rolling on barrels, guys completely wrapped up in in cloth, and little kids with shields and swords. I think the only thing that's different is the people in this aren't as angry. But yeah, while I could, to be fair, actually, some of the patterns and designs do feel very like inspired, and rightfully so, because I'm pretty sure these game designers did actually do some research, because this doesn't. If I'll say one thing about this game, it is not a lazy game. It's far from it. Yeah, this used to be actually one of my favourite levels when I was younger. I think it was because I watched the Aladdin film so much, so it always made me think of that.
Why did it have to be snakes? I hate the snakes again.
And speaking of films, we just got
You see what I did there? A little Indiana Jones thing. This is good, no? I'm so good at the interpretation.
yeah, Pepe doing his Indiana Jones. Well, it's more of an impression than an interpretation, Pepe. But yeah, this challenge is pretty fun. Just go across, climb up the right pole, use the flight to actually speed things up a bit. But yeah, I definitely watch the Aladdin films a lot, and I think that's partly why I enjoyed this one so much. Because yeah, not that many people know. Well, actually, quite a lot of people know, I'd say, but not everyone knows that there are 3 Aladdin films. And I had all 3, and I watched them a lot. I used to also have a couple of VHSs of, I don't know what they were like some cartoons from Arab countries, and I no idea what they were saying because they weren't in English. It's like an interesting fact. Well, if it's about me, it's not really that interesting, but I've seen Disney's Peter Pan, but I've never seen it in English. We used to have a VHS of the Arabic version of it, and I have no idea what they say because I don't speak the language. But yeah, I still watched it because I was still at such a young age at the time that even watching stuff in English, I still really had no idea what they were talking about, so so yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, if I were to go back to the topic of the level design in the game, yeah, the level design in this game is actually really good. Like, there's so much variety. It's like the guys had a lot of ideas and they wanted to put them all in, so they did, and it kind of works. Like, considering this is supposed to be a licensed game, they certainly didn't hold back. Like, look at these different textures. Like, look at how the wall has these like little intricate patterns on them. Like, they didn't need to do that technically, but they still did, and it just adds to it. There's even like cracks in the wall and stuff like that for some of the textures, which is something I can appreciate very much. A bit like, I mean, I guess they might have had a high enough budget if they had like a Ratatouille composer for this game. But and as we can see here, they've got a Donkey Kong thing going on over here. DK Donkey Kong. DK Donkey Kong is here. Donkey Kermit. I think something else I quite like about this the game, it's like, so in Spyro, when something is far away, it becomes a bit less detailed, the model. And then as you get closer, it becomes more detailed. This game does a similar thing, but what it tends to do more is it tends to have the object darken and like fade more into the background, as you might have seen there. The design that's like the buildings that were further away, they suddenly became like silhouetted, and it kind of adds to the sort of aesthetic and the like time of day in the level too. I mean, I think in the daytime levels it behaves slightly differently, but it definitely works over here because it's supposed to be like set at night time. And if you haven't noticed by now, this is the other level that has the music where it has that similar intro that was heard in Molten Mayhem. Just that beginning bit is exactly the same, but then it turns into a completely different song. And our friend the Block Switch is back for round 2 in this place. Oh, there's a moon in the sky, I didn't even notice that. I just thought it was a really plain skybox. Ah, they actually added a moon, that's nice. I wonder if they had made it a crescent, would that have been too on the nose? But yep, doing that switch has given us some magic platforms to go across, so I guess they just really want the spirit of, I don't know, gene magic. Come in here. Aladdin 4, Robin's Revenge. Coming to a theatre near you. I mean, yeah, because the Muppets are owned by Disney now, I guess they could do like a crossover. Kingdom Hearts 4 with the Muppets in. Now, because I really hate dealing with these enemies, I like to lure them out and try to get them early so that I don't have to run backwards, but I mean it's a bit of a moot point when you don't get both of them. And he's just fallen to his death. It's a cool fate, that. But Robin's there with just this blank stare going on, just like, well, there was nothing I could do. Don't look at me, he came at me first. But yeah, Robin is pretty, he's just like, seems to be pretty okay with everything that's going on. He doesn't even like question the fact that he can morph. That's not even brought up at all either, really. Just in a tutorial, I guess, in the first level. But there's no real question of like, oh, he could turn into these monsters and have superpowers. Should we like get a doctor? Or maybe that's why he came to like the Arab place, because everyone wants to be a doctor here, so there'll probably be a lot of doctors. I don't think we see this because I don't ever like stand still in this playthrough, but a nice little idle animation of Robin's as he starts singing a bit of the Muppet theme to himself.
Everybody ready?
So now we're racing Percy.
On your mark, get set.
I don't know, to me that's probably one of the least Arab names you could think of, but yeah, he's a pretty fast boy. This one is a bit annoying because his model is so wide he can push you off those platforms, and that's why I failed those other 2 times. And I don't remember if they actually count as you losing a life or not. We'll find out when we see my hit points, but that's the bit that you should look out for. Otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward race. It's just like any other. But yeah, if you can get past him pushing you out of the way, it's not really that difficult. But I guess, and I guess they just really wanted to show that like these small Arab children do not play fairly. Well, I guess that's what happens when you play with a child, is that they might do anything to win, including cheat, because they haven't like been taught maybe yet to do that. But then again, in these places it's pretty strict, so they probably wouldn't dare doing that, or at least wouldn't let like the okay, it doesn't count, I don't think. Well, they wouldn't let his dad find out, otherwise the shoe's coming off and and he's getting hit in the head. You know, something tells me I'm probably like not portraying these people in the best light, but hopefully those understand that it's a joke, and if not, then please go home and rethink some things. Wow, that's really solly. Let's just move on from that. That's the level complete. So yeah, Raven Friday, it's a pretty good level. In the next part, we will be doing Feeling Flushed, a level I am not that familiar with. So see you then.